So
Yeah.
you mentioned social media and just all of the noise, and I see a lot of parents of young ones, especially looking around at everything on social media and the types of training that is out there for really young
Mm-hmm.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they're falling into this idea of, oh, my 10-year-old needs to be with this coach because he trains professional athletes, but the
Yeah.
training isn't age based, maturity based. It is advanced. It's already like really specific. So
Yeah.
let's talk about why young kids need a different type of speed training than a professional athlete, and how parents really need to stand their ground and do research on this to have the right coach at that age.
100%. And one of the easiest ways that we can sort of really simplify this is, would you let your young athlete drive a Ferrari? Absolutely not, would you?
We can end the
And
podcast right there.
but the reason being, and it goes back to, why our youngest kid that we had in our academy was like 9 years old. And what we did do, and what good coaches do, and what responsible parents do, is that they understand the physical preparation gaps that are not delivered by current education curriculums, and they seek out people who can do that for them. And that's the most important part. So my 10-year-old doesn't need to be working with so and so because he trains pros. Do you know that that is the sideline competition? That's the parents' conversation competition. My guy plays with this guy. It's like there's a British comedy on Netflix called Motherland. It's all about the school mums. It's hilarious. It's exactly that. So and so does this with so and so, and meanwhile the kid on the field is about to tear a hamstring. So what we are looking for, especially at those young age where we're still fostering relationships with sport, because sport is much bigger than the attributes itself. There's so many life lessons in it, that what you don't want them to feel is tired, burnt out, the pressure to go and work with a coach who works with professionals. That's horrendous for a young person, a young brain to understand. And they need to be, oh, I want you to jump on this box. I want you to pick this thing up and go and carry it for me. I want you to see how many push ups you can do. And next time I want to see if you can beat that. I want you to enjoy and be motivated to work hard at the right pace. And your job and my job, we're facilitators of that. And we let the clock do its job. And that's a really important part, because if we if you instill and foster good relationships with training at young ages, like our lads, they had to shake the coach's hand, they had to look him in the eye, they had to say hello, they had to say thank you, and they had to say goodbye. Then when they're in there, they work hard. And work hard is just effort. Show up, just work, give me effort. And then that's all that it takes, because then they do enjoy their sport. Because our guys, I think, from over 10 years, as you'll know this with your girls, they don't get hurt. We don't get any growth related injuries that put people out of sport, and participation is dropping as they get to those 15, 16 years old. It drops off because they're knackered, and they don't enjoy it anymore. Whereas we want them, to keep going. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the situation.
I'm totally stealing the Ferrari analogy. That was brilliant.
You just
um
say it to a parent and walk off.
yeah, it's so good. And yeah, I think the parents who hire the trainer who mainly works with professional athletes, they want those bragging rights. They
Yep.
want to tell the other parent that their kid's working with so and so. But my question is always, well, if this trainer is working with professional athletes, how much time does this trainer actually have to research child development, really work with young kids? Are they a master of that craft? Some of the
Yep.
best youth coaches and trainers only work with youth.
Yep. Yeah,
So
100%.
it's something to think about. And I get asked this question all the time for speed development for the young ones. Should they hire a mechanics coach to do track drills and help them work on A skips and B skips? And I'm
Mm,
wondering your answer to that question.
absolutely not. They don't. Because, you know, again, it's another, a bit of a cutthroat analogy. It's like, is your kid wearing adult's clothing yet? Then they shouldn't train like an adult. When we are still growing, they are still growing. So why do we need to reinforce mechanics in that way? Any any coach who's worth their salt that works with youth will understand the role of utilizing exercises that help develop running mechanics and help develop that. But when Florence, I've used a very typical British name there for you, when Florence grows like 3 inches over the
You
summer
use
holiday,
Florence, we use like little Johnny.
little Johnny, John Smith, the very
Yeah.
English, yeah. So, but when they grow, like you're just going to do the same thing over and over again. And I would fire a little warning shot that if your coach who works with pros is like wanting to pick up these young developing athletes, then he's probably not working with that many pros. Because what you would then be is a cash cow. You'd be easy money from. And that's something to be wary of because everyone's worked with so and so in the off season, aka they saw that person across the gym and gave them a towel. Those are the things that parents need to be wary of. You have to really trust. And in the company with the academies, I dedicated one coach who used to work with us. That's your job. He was so good at it as well. And you have to have a way of working with young kids. You have to. There is just an art form. You have to really understand your own inner child to really work well with kids and play because they won't respond. You can play with them and engage in the way that they will engage with you, but still carry respect as a leader. And it's a really fine balance, and not a lot of people can do it. And that's what gets the best out of them. And I think that's really important. So those mechanics, you could do a time lapse of a kid doing the same drill over 5 years, and it will look 500 different ways until it starts to look good. And that's the goal, and that's all you need to do.